Hello and welcome to the Alonzo Says Show. I'm Alonzo. Today's topic is going to be a really good one, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of today is, can women and men be friends and nothing more? Now, it's been my experience that it can work, but there are so many layers in this situation where it can create many difficult situations when you're involving a female or a male friend in your relationship and trying to make both of them work at the same time. Now, to be honest with you, on the pros, you can have someone who's been a lifelong friend of yours since growing up. And that's somebody who you can entrust in and talk to. And I'm talking about from the opposite sex now. Not basically a girlfriend or a guy who's your buddy. I'm talking about the opposite sex. When they have that as a friend and then you involve that in your relationship. They can also give you advice from another standpoint. Now, the cons of that is that you have a lot of times where these people who've been friends, they aren't being honest with their new relationship by explaining to them that they've had sexual contact or they have feelings for each other, or it was a side relationship, or they're sexually attracted to that friend. And they can also bring toxic situation to the relationship, because you can have that friend who's attracted to you and not being honest with you, vice versa. And then when you ask them for advice, then that individual is going to give you the advice that they feel is going to help them out and not help your relationship or you out. And they also can have friends who waiting for a rebound. They're waiting for you to fall on your face in your relationship, and they're waiting for that rebound. See, because when you have your friend, that person have your blueprint of who you are. So that person kind of knows exactly what they need to do or need to say to get where they need to go with you. So you don't have an idea if this person is being genuine with you or they're basically saying what's necessary for them to stay in the fold. So you have to keep that in mind. And it can easily open up Pandora boxes. You can have someone who you've entrusted and confide in, and they go off and tell your new relationship person on stuff that you've told them that could potentially be toxic to your relationship. Whether they're telling that person who they feel, okay, I think it's only fair for this individual to know exactly what my friend is doing, and I think that this is a good guy, this is a really sweet girl, and I don't want to see them get hurt by my friend. Or they could be telling them toxic information so they can run them off, and you don't know that. So there's a whole lot of variables there when you're dealing with stuff like this. So you have to really take into account when you're trying to mix your friendship and your relationship together. I've had female friends in the past, and we were just friends. Now, lifelong friends, that's a different story. Now, when I was in school, I had plenty of female friends that I talked to and give them advice, even in college. But I wouldn't say we were lifelong friends. We were friends in that time span. But when you're talking about somebody who's been friends for a long time, then that's a different story. Because like I said, you have some people who consider you their friends because they work with you, or because they know who you are, or because you at a party. Those aren't your friends. A real friend is a person who, no matter where you're at, what you're doing, you can pick up the phone and talk to them about any and everything. You need things, they're there for you, you're there for them. It goes both ways, because you have some people who are friends with you as long as you can do what you can do for them. And then you have some friends who will only be there when you can do for them. And when you need them, they leave you unstuck. So those aren't real friends. I'm talking about friends who they've been through thick and thin with you. Now let's be realistic now. Let's be realistic. And some people may disagree with this, but it's true. You don't find, I'm talking about from a men and women standpoint now. You don't find, from a man's standpoint, you don't find many men who gonna have all female friends. And they're just his friend. He don't want nothing out of them. He don't want anything from them. That just ain't the way it works. Guys can accumulate friends by just talking. And whether you're at a job or you're in school or in the neighborhood or whatever that might be. And anybody can be your friend. But ain't no guys most guys aren't walking out there trying to accumulate just girls as friends. They're just not. That's not the way reality works. If he got a whole bunch of girls around him, you can rest assured that he's trying to screw over half of them. If he's not screwing half of them. And for a woman to sit there and believe that he can have all these female friends and they're just his friends and they don't want anything from each other, you're going to get what you deserve, and it's foolish at best for you to even believe that. There can be this actual female that's just his friend and they're tight like that, and she'll tell him what he want to hear and what he need to hear, and etc., etc., etc. I would say for every 50 women, you might can find one or two that actually are just your friends. But you know what? It might be a female that you have no interest in. It might be a woman who's a lesbian or gay, so she don't have any interest in men. Things along those lines. Or someone who maybe you just grew up with and you was lifelong friends. And so that sexual part of it has dissipated where you actually entrust that person as your friend. Now, women on the other end, now let's just be honest with you now. Unlike men, you can have a man who walk up and see 10 women coming toward him, and we're so greedy that we'll be thinking about which one I want to sleep with. We're so greedy is that we won't know how to separate all those without overstepping our boundaries, stepping on one woman to get to the other one, and then trying to clean our mess up later. Women don't work like that. Women do not work like that. You can have 10 men walking up to a woman. And by the time them men don't get up to that woman, she don't already deciphered who she gonna sleep with, who she gonna date, who she's just gonna screw, who she's gonna have as a friend, who she might think is gay. That is a bona fide fact. That's why women are able to cheat if they so choose to, because they're more calculating than men are. We're more from a strategy standpoint, that I'm going to try to get this chick right here because this is what I like. This chick right here is like this, so I'm going to try to do this. Women are way more calculating than that. They'll be able to size you up before you're done and realize where you're going to be at. And as far as women, if a woman tell you that all 10 males are her friends, just her friend, and all she deal with is just men as her friend because women are catty, that's full of bull. You know why? Because there's some women out there who just like her who's not catty. What a lot of women do, and this is a fact, is they accumulate all these males and they're able to pick and choose in this group of who they're going to sleep with, because rest assured, if she have 10 men around her, you can rest assured 5 of them are trying to sleep with her. 2 of them she might actually be sleeping with. The other 2 probably is gay, so she don't want anything from them, and they don't want anything from her except to talk about fashion and other men. And then you might actually have that very one who's actually her friend, and they're lifelong friends. Because see, she ain't interested in you, then you become you're no longer a challenge in that fold. She can talk to you about anything, about anyone, anywhere, and she don't have any feelings involved with you. That's when you know whether or not you have a true friend. That's your litmus test. If you can sit down and listen to your friend talk about another guy or another female, or a guy can sit down and listen and talk about another individual, and you have no feelings, there's no jealous feelings or hurt feelings or anything, then you know you have a true friend. Then you know you are a true friend, because now there's no feelings that are involved in that situation. But a lot of people aren't true about that. They'll sit there and suppress their feeling or ignore it and say, no, that's my friend. No, he's my friend. We ain't even like that. But they are, and they want to be that way. But they're waiting for the perfect opportunity. Or they'll sit and say, oh, well, we had some wine one night, or they was having some issues. And then one day we realized, we're so compatible. That's so full of bull. The proof of the matter is that they've always probably felt that way. They just decide to take that time to admit it. That's a fact. And people don't want to admit that, but it's so true. When you're dealing with a relationship, just like a person can say, you know what, that person has been my lifelong friend, and you can't make me get rid of him or her to be with you because we've been friends for a long time. And they come before you. On the same token, while you had that situation, or you have that thought process, it's only fair to that person who's in a relationship that you don't force that person on them, because they don't know the blueprint of your relationship. They don't know it. They're taking your word for it. You can't say, well, you got to take my word for it. No, you have to gain trust from that individual who you're trying to develop a new relationship out of with. That's only fair to them. You can't force that person on them. If that person is a friend of yours, they'll be able to say, you know what, she or he is trying to build over him. So let me give them that space. And then when they get to a point where they know they want to be in a relationship, then we can start to integrate me into that situation. And same token for the person who's in the relationship. If there's a respect there, then I'll go to my friend and say, hey, you know what? I just met such and such. So just give me time, and I want to get to know this person and see if this is a good fit for me. And then if it's a good fit, then I want you all to meet each other, and I want to see if we can make this work, because you're a good friend of mine, but I'm in this relationship too. Because guess what? At the end of the day, if there's somebody who you're thinking about marrying, then you're not marrying your best friend. You're marrying that man or woman. And they're going to be more important to you than anyone. Now, if you're just trying to screw that person, okay, then you can have your friends all over the place. You can have your friends right there sitting with you all the time. You know why? Because you're not getting into a relationship. You're not trying to go into marriage. So that becomes neither here or there. But if you're trying to have a serious relationship, you have to truly think about integrating a friend or trying to force that friend onto your relationship. Because there's some people who accept it. They accept, well, that's her friend and it's not fair for me. And you know what? That's an accident waiting to happen, because you open that Pandora box up to you don't have no idea of what this friend. I'm quite sure there's plenty of people out there who can speak about where they thought that this individual was just a friend of hers, or this individual was just a friend of his, and you find out that they're sleeping together. And then they give you all kind of excuses on why they wind up sleeping with each other. But you open that Pandora box by not holding them accountable. So it's important that if you're going to have such an arrangement, then you need to sit down with your potential person. Now, just like I said, this is only for people I feel who are in relationship or marriage, or thinking about getting married, that you sit down with your prospective partner and say, hey, this is such and such my friend. What's your feelings on that? How do you feel about this? I'm open to introducing you all and let you all get to know each other and see how you feel about it going forward. Now, if that individual can say, you know what, this makes me uncomfortable. This makes me very uncomfortable. I don't think this is something I can do. Then at that moment, you have a decision to make. Either I'm going to continue to build this relationship and I'll just let my friend know, hey, we're good friends, but as of now, I'm going to have to, the best friendish thing, doing the stuff that we normally do. We can't do that right now because I'm trying to build over him. But we still are friends, and either they'll respect that or they won't. If that relationship is important to you, if you have to the point where you sit and say, okay, you know what, this friend been my friend a long time, and this relationship isn't worth it, then you make that decision. But you live with that decision. You can't hold that guy or that woman responsible for you decide to make that decision. You have to hold yourself accountable for that. But on the same token, every relationship where you have friends, male or female, the other individual deserves to have the respect if you're trying to be in a relationship with that person. The other person can always respect that you have friends before him or her. They can respect that. But the onus is on you and your friend, not that other individual, because you all have an established relationship whatever that might be. That other person doesn't. So you can't throw that onus on that person and say, well, it's your responsibility to like my friend. No, it's not. It's your friends and your responsibility to make that person feel comfortable, that they can trust when you and that friend are together, that that's just what it is. Now, I want you all to reach out to me and give me your opinion. My website is alonzosays.com. Leave me a feedback, and we'll touch on this basis again, and we'll talk about it and see what your opinion is on it. I'm quite sure there's a whole lot of people out there with opinions on this. I look forward to talking to the many of viewers when my YouTube is up, and the many listeners on my podcast, and talking more about it. Like I said, my website is alonzoseyz.com, and on my Facebook page as well. I look forward to speaking to you all more. You all make sure you have a great evening. May America reach prosperity at God's speed. Thank you. God bless and good night.